this class, we'll just complete the last part which we have actually left out. Okay, that is actually the logic gates. The last part of the logic gates is basic exclusive logic gates. Exclusive logic gates, okay, which is actually third part of our logic gate. Okay, first one we have finished basic logic gates. Why that is called basic logic gates? And or not are called basic logic gates because using and or not we can able to design any type of digital circuit in the world. Okay, so that's why it's called basic logic gates. Then next we have seen universal logic gates. Under universal logic gates we have discussed about NAND and NOR. And why NAND and NOR are called universal logic gates? Because using universal logic gates we can design the basic logic gates and or and not. As we know that by using and or not we can design any type of digital circuit in the world. That's why NAND and NOR are called universal logic gates, which can be designed any type of digital circuit in the world. And the last part of the logic gate is exclusive logic gates. There are mainly two exclusive logic gates for particular operations are been fixed. Those are XOR and next is XNOR. So XOR is the exclusive OR and XNOR is the exclusive NOR. These gates are mainly useful for the particular operation only. That's why these are called exclusive. These are called exclusive. Okay, they are having exclusive operations. Okay, so see here, what are those exclusive operations? Mainly these logic gates XOR and XNOR are useful in error correcting and dictating techniques. Okay, I have already told about the XOR gate to you. What is XOR gate? XOR gate is also called one OR detector. I have already discussed about this thing earlier. One OR detector. Okay, so what is one OR detector? If the inputs are there, the number of input, if I am giving inputs to the 0 and 1, then it will count the number of ones over there. If the number of ones are odd, then output will enable. If the number of ones are even, the count of number of ones are even, the output will not enable. Okay, so XOR gate, what is the symbol? The symbol of the XOR gate is, so it's a two input XOR gate, A, B, and this is Z. Z is A XOR B. Okay, so this is function. What is the function of the XOR gate? The function of the XOR gate is, we can also represent A XOR B is in this way: A bar B plus A bar B or A B bar. Okay, this is actually the function of XOR gate. Okay, A bar B or A B bar. Okay, next, the truth table. What actually truth table describes to us? Truth table tells us the relationship between input and output. The inputs are your A and B, the output is Z, A XOR B. Okay, so here obviously this is two input XOR, so 2 square 4 number of combinations are possible. So what are those combinations? 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, and 1 1. Okay, so there will be two input XOR gate. Also there will be many input XOR gate, maybe 5 input XOR gate also available. Okay, so if this is the 5 input XOR gate, but our interest is in 2 input XOR gate, which actually takes either 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, and 1 1. So what it will do, it will count the number of ones. If the number of ones are odd, output will enable. If number of ones are even, output will not be enabled. So here 0 0, what are the number of ones? 0. So 0 is an even, so output doesn't enable here. So 0 1, the number of counts of the 1 is even, that sorry, odd, that is 1, that's why output enables. 1 0, number of ones are 1, so which is odd, output is 1. So 1 1, two number of ones are there, so output is 0 because 2 is even. This is the truth table and this is the functionality. How this functionality came, I will tell you in the unit 2, don't worry. Okay, next, what is the IC? The IC of the XOR gate is 7486. Okay, 7486 is again 7486 is again two input XOR gate IC, which consists of 4 XOR gates in it. Okay, 4 XOR gates in it. Okay, so next part is just a minute. So next part is, can we able to design this XOR gate using using basic gates equivalent circuit with respect to basic gate? Is it possible? Is equivalent circuit with respect to basic gates? So using and or and not, can we able to design this XOR gate or not? Okay, so yes, we can design it, because as we know that Z is A XOR B, which is nothing else A bar B or A B bar. So how we got this, I will tell you. So don't worry. So I will tell you just basics. Don't worry. So A B, this is Z, which is A XOR B. So what we got? 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0. So now I am telling you how actually. So this is my truth table of XOR. So see here, where is my output enables in this case, and where is my output enables in this case? In these two places only my output was enabled. Okay, so at that time, what is my A value? A is 0. My A is 0. So at first case, my A is 0 and B is 1. So if A is 0, it is represented as A bar, and B is 1 means it is represented as B. What this is called minterm. I will tell you later on these things in unit 2. Don't worry. So like this way, I have got this expression A bar B, and you see here, if you see this 1 0 combination, at that time what is my A? A is 1. That's why A as it is, and B is 0. Since B is 0, it is represented as B bar. So like this way, I have got these expressions. Okay, so I will explain these things better in unit 2 once you start knowing about the sum of product and minterms. Okay, at that time you will be understand it about it very well. Don't worry. Okay, so what is now this question is, now how can we express this with respect to basic gate, this XOR gate? How can we express using basic gates? So see here, what is here? A is A bar. So here this is my A bar. So I can design this with the help of not and or not. I will going to see it here. A is, and this is A bar, and this is my B, and here it is given to the AND gate. Okay, similarly here A B bar means A with the jumper I have taken here. This is my A, and B bar is what? I have taken B and took NOT gate and put it to the AND gate over here. Okay, and finally both the results I have been with the help of OR gate. So OR gate means, so this is my Z, which is A XOR B. So with the help of NOT gate, AND gate, OR gate, also I can design A XOR B. Did you all understand, students? Okay, this is the equivalent circuit of the XOR gate using basic gates. Okay, you may get 2 more question over there. So what I have told till now, I have told about the exclusive OR gate. Exclusive OR gate is nothing else. It's a one OR detector. If number of ones at the input is odd, output enables. Okay, if number of ones at the input is even, output doesn't enable. Okay, this is the thing. And finally we have seen what is the functionality. The functionality is A bar B or AR A B bar, and how we have achieved by seeing the combinations of the input A bar B and A B bar, the output enables. That's why I have designed the circuit using equivalent, designed the circuit using basic gate, that is AND, OR, and NOT. Okay, so next part, did you all understand, students? Students, is it all clear to you? Exclusive OR?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll move to the next part of our syllabus, that is second part, which is exclusive NOR. So exclusive NOR is a kind of opposite kind of phenomena. Actually, what is happening in the XOR? You can see it's actually a one event detector. You can see that. So how is it exclusive or exclusive NOR? The symbol is like this. So this is my XOR. I'll put one NOT over here. It become XNOR. Okay. So this is nothing else. A, B, and Z is. So this is A XNOR B dot a circle, dot and a circle gives me a XNOR B. Okay, and what is the functionality of it? Functionality of it tell that A bar B bar or AB. I'll tell you this thing also, how it has been derived from the truth table. Okay, don't worry. So next, this is the symbol. Okay, this is the functionality. Then we'll see about the truth table. As we have seen for all the logic gates, we have seen about all these things. What is truth table? Truth table gives me the relationship between input and the output. Z is X or B. So what I have told for the XNOR gate, I have told about the XNOR gate is a one event detector. Okay, whenever there is even number of ones encountered at the input, then it enables my output. Okay, so see here, so it's again a two input XNOR. So two input means 2 square, 4 number of input combinations possible. Those input combinations are 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Okay, so what I told, if even number of ones encountered, so here the number of ones will be 0, so obviously even. 0 means even, so output enables. Okay, here number of ones are odd, output disables. Here number of ones are odd, output disables. Here number of ones are even, output enables. Just the opposite of XOR, nothing else. So now how A bar, B bar or AB can come up? You can see where the output enables. Here my output enables. So what is that time? At that time A is in complement form, B is in complement form. This is A bar and B bar. Next, here also output enables. That's why it's in the form of A. A is in uncomplement form. That's why 1. B is also in uncomplement form. That's why AB. So A bar, B bar has been derived from the truth table. This you will understand better way in the unit 2 as well. Don't worry. Just I have derived this equation, this logic equation. This is called a logic equation of the XNOR gate from the truth table itself, nothing else. Okay. Now the thing is, what is the IC number? The IC number is 74266. Okay, is the IC number. Now how to design this using basic gates? Because I can design this using basic gates, obviously yes, because it's a combination of NOT gate, AND gate and OR gate. So what I have to do, I have to take A, this is my A bar, I have taken B and this is my B bar, and both AND gate to get here A bar, B bar. Okay, and I have taken B and A, AND gate to get AB, and finally I have done the OR operation between these two to get Z, which is A XNOR B, which is also called A bar, B bar or AB. Okay, did you all understand, students, how I have designed the equivalent circuit using basic gates only and or not of the XNOR? Okay, so did you understand, students? Any doubt on this? Please let me know, students. So did you all understand digital logic gates? What are the digital logic gates? A quick review, like it's having basic gates and or not. Because why it is called basic gates? Because with the help of and or not, we can design any type of digital circuit in the world. Next, we have seen the universal logic gates. Universal logic gates are NAND and NOR. With the help of NAND and NOR, we can design the basic gates. Okay, and with the help of NAND and NOR, we can design any type of digital circuit in the world. That's why these are called universal logic gates. Then we came to the exclusive operation gates. Those exclusive gates are XOR and XNOR. Okay, and mainly we have seen it's a one odd detector and one event detector, and where this exclusive gates will be used mainly in the help of error correction and detection. Okay, what is error correction and detection? The usage, I'll just elaborate here just for 1 minute. So let's say this is your system. Okay, let's say this is your antenna. You are transmitting something data here. You are transmitting something here through air. Okay, this is your air, and receiver, there is a antenna, it receives. Let's say you transmit 1011. Okay, and at the receiver, this is my receiver, this is the transmitter, where this exclusive or and exclusive NOR is going to be used, I will tell you. Okay, so see here, you are sending a data from here at Hyderabad to at USA. Okay, at the receiver it's USA. So you are sending 1011 from here to here, and at the receiver, while the data came, it become 1101. Okay, you have sent 1011, but you have achieved 1101. So at that time, what you need to do, you need to know that whatever data sent by me from India, whether I have received proper data or some erroneous data, that can be done by using XOR and XNOR gate operation. How? I will tell you at unit 2. Don't worry. Using parity and checker and detector. Error correction and detection time, I will explain you better way. Okay. This is just an application. So how it actually detects the error and corrects the one bit error. Exclusive OR and exclusive NOR gates are useful for correction and detection of the error. Okay, any doubt, students, till now? Did you all understand where I am going to use this actually exclusive gates? At data communication. Okay, for detecting error and correcting error. Any doubt, students? Please let me know quickly.
No, sir.
Fardu, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, what about Sai Kiran? Did you understand? Kavya? Kavya, did you understand the concept, whatever I have told till now? Kavya? Sai Teja? Sai Teja, is it okay? Sai Teja, did you understand? Hello? Okay. Aishwarya, did you understand the concept?
Yes, sir, I understood.
Okay. So where we are using exclusive OR and NOR, we are using it at error correction and detection purpose. We will see that thing in the unit 2. Don't worry. Okay. So next part of our class is, so very important topic. You will get minimum 10 marks of question from this, Boolean algebra. Okay, what is Boolean algebra? What is Boolean algebra? We are going to see. So before going to start the thing Boolean algebra, so I will tell you one of the important definitions of Boolean algebra. Okay, it's actually what axiomatic definition of Boolean algebra. What is that axiomatic definition? Axiomatic definition of Boolean algebra. So what is that? So mainly, before going to that, another important thing, postulates. What do you mean by postulates, students? Can anybody has any doubt? Postulates are nothing else, assumptions that are taken to be granted. Okay, postulates are assumptions that are taken to be granted. We have to take certain assumptions and finally those assumptions to be granted. So we'll see those postulates first. That first postulate 1 actually tells me the axiomatic definition of the Boolean algebra. Okay, what is that? See here. Boolean algebra is containing a set of 2 or more elements. Boolean algebra is containing a set of 2 or more elements and 2 operators. Okay, it is containing set of 2 or more elements like A, B. So set up, these are 2 elements and 2 operators. What are those operators? Dot and or. This is logical and logical or. Boolean algebra consisting of set of 2 or more elements and 2 operators for every a comma b. For every a comma b belongs to set k. Set k, this is k, set k. Every a comma b, it belongs to set k. So let's say this is a or b, okay, which is also belongs to k. A and b is also belongs to k. Okay, if a set contains only 2 values, so here 2 values, what are the values? 0 and 1. If the set contains 2 values, 0 and 1, then that is called 2 valued Boolean algebra. 2 valued Boolean algebra. So what do you understand from this, students? This is postulate 1. Postulate means what? what assumption that are taken to be granted. I have taken certain assumption that finally has to be granted. Okay, so here what it tells, Boolean algebra tells me that Boolean algebra is containing set of 2 or more elements. I have taken 2 elements here, set of 2 or more elements, which is belongs to this set K. So this is A, B, sorry, set of 2 or more elements. So A, B, C, D, whatever I am going to take, it will be satisfied in this set and with 2 operators, and those operators also A or B, A and B, C and D, C plus B, A plus, everything it should be within the set K, and those two values are 0 and 1. If those two values are 0 and 1, that is called two valued Boolean algebra. Any doubts, students? So what do you understand? Boolean algebra is containing a set of 2 or more elements and 2 operators, dot and plus. So dot is logical and this is logical OR. Then A and B belongs to K, A comma B belongs to K, which performs this type of operation also belongs to K. If the set consisting of two values 0 and 1, then that is called two valued Boolean algebra. Okay, did you all understand? So this is my postulate 1. This is my postulate 1. Now I'll tell about you postulate 2. Just a minute. Just a minute, students. Nina? Hello? Yeah, students, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there was some issue in the network. Anyhow, it's get resolved. I get disconnected. Okay. So did you all understand postulate 1? Postulate 1 told me about that assumption. Postulate is nothing yet, assumption that are taken to be granted. What postulate 1 told me that? Postulate 1 told me that if A and B are that A and B are the variables, okay, which is belongs to set K, and the two operators also, which is A or B, also belongs to K. A dot B also belongs to K. If the set K consisting of two values 0 and 1, then this is called two valued Boolean algebra. Okay, so this actually I have told you in the postulate 1. In the next postulate, see here, postulate number 2. Just a minute, some error. Okay, now postulate number 2. So what postulate 2 tells me about? So why we need Boolean algebra now? Mainly the Boolean algebra is actually required to minimize the number of literals or variables in a digital circuit. So okay, so what is now the question is, what is literal, what is variable, and what is my logical equation? Before starting this postulate number 2, I want to describe few things to you. Okay, what are those things? Actually, let's say I'm going to design particular circuit, any type of digital circuit. This is any digital circuit, and it is having, let's say, 3 inputs and 2 outputs. Okay, any type of. So now I'm going to explain two things before starting to this other postulates. What is variable and next literals? These are the two things. and equation, logic equation. Okay, so see here. So there are, this is digital circuit. This digital circuit is having 3 inputs. It takes 3 inputs and gives us 2 outputs. Okay. What are those outputs? Depending upon the specification, what it actually doing. Okay. So see here, what is variable? The variable is nothing else, the inputs and outputs. Okay. It's actually what actually this digital circuit connected to the external world. So what is the external world? These are the external world inputs and these are the external world outputs. So variable is nothing else, it is external world. What is the connected to the external world? Let's say my variables are here a, b, c, which are inputs, x and y, which are outputs. So here x and y outputs, a, b and c. The inputs which are represented the external world, where I will give the inputs here either 0 and 1, and outputs I will be expecting either 0 and 1. Okay, or don't care, whatever maybe I'll tell. So these are called variables. So these are called input variables. So please try to understand, very important student, these are called output variables. Any doubt on this? Please let me know quickly. Okay, so these variables are external world, how your circuit actually connects to the external world. Okay, you have to give particular names. Okay, so that is variable. Now literals means what? You see here, variable a is a variable which is having 2 forms. It is a and a bar. Variable a has 2 forms, it is a and a bar. So a is what actually? True form of variable a. Okay, a bar is nothing else, complement form of variable a. Do you all understand? So variable a has a 2 forms, one is a and a bar. So these a and a bar are called literals of variable a. Any doubt, students? Please let me know about this. Did you all understand what is variable and what is literals? Variable is, first of all, variable is external world, how the logic circuit behaves with the external world, what are the inputs and what are the outputs. So if there is 3 inputs, 3 variables has been defined. If there is 2 outputs, 2 variables has been defined for the output variable. Now the question of here is, what is literal? Literal is nothing else, the registers. So if in the question asked in the exam, what is variable, difference between variable and literal, you need to explain this way. Take an example, take like this, external world, variable is your external world and literal is your registers. Registers means either a and a bar. If it is you are taking variable b, what is literals? B and b bar. One is in true form, another one is complement form. This is called literal. Any doubt, students? Please let me know immediately. Hello, any doubt till now, students, on this
No, sir.
variable and literal? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so next, another thing, term. Okay, before starting the other postulates, I just want to discuss you all these things to you. What is term? Term is nothing else. The term is nothing else. Actually, in a logic equation, there are various terms. Okay, so see here. Let's say logic equation x is an output which is expressed in the form of a bar, b bar, or ab. Okay, x is a bar, b bar, or ab. What is that actually? It's a XNOR operation. What we have done in the digital circuit, it is XNOR operation. This is a and b. The logic circuit is XNOR operation, which gives me x, which is ab. So in the external world, what is there in the XNOR? This is and this is. So a, b and x are called variables. which actually represents the external world of the digital design. Okay, now this A bar and B bar of this logic equation is called literals. Okay, literals. A bar is literal of complement form of literal A, and also A and also B. These are also literals. A bar is complement form of the variable A is true form of variable A, B is true form of variable B, B bar is complement form of variable B. These are all literals. A, B is variable as well as literal. Okay, A and A bar, B and B bar are the literals of the logic equation. Okay, and this one is the logic equation. Okay, this one is the logic equation. Now the question is, what is term? Term is nothing else. This is one term, this is another term. Term is nothing else, the combination of literals or variables with the operators. Okay, here the combination of literal A bar and literal B bar is the first term of the logic equation. A and B are the second term of logic. Any doubt up to this, student? Very, very important concept. These are all basics I have just explained, because I am going to use this frequently now. So three things we have studied here. One is variable, literal, term, and what is logic equation? Logic equation is the equation which is to be framed inside the logic circuit. Now the question is very important. Why we need Boolean algebra? Very important 2 mark question in the GATE point of view as well as in the exam point of view. Why we need Boolean algebra? Before going to start the postulate 2, I am going to explain this to you. Okay, so tell me now why we need the Boolean algebra. Let's say I'm just giving you one example. Let's say W. Okay, W is X, Y, Z, or X bar Y. I have not written dot, means it's obviously it's a dot. Okay, remember this, I am not written means X, Y, Z means X and Y and Z, or X bar and Y, or X, Y, Z bar. Let's say like this my logic equation is. Okay, now tell me, in order to implement this logic equation, how many number of gates required? How many number of basic gates required? Can anybody just guess it? So here I need one 3 input AND gate, one 3 input AND gate. I also need here one NOT gate for the X bar, okay, and one 2 input AND gate. Next, I also need another NOT gate for Z bar, one more NOT gate. This is for X bar, this is for Z bar. Next, I again need one 3 input AND gate. And at the end, I need 3 input OR gate. You see, 3 input OR gate. Okay. So in my design, I need how many sophisticated gates? 2 sophisticated gates. So 3 input means cost is high. Okay, the cost is high. If it is 2 input or AND gate and 3 input OR gate, the cost is very. Okay, so see here how many number of gates I need here. 3 plus 1 4 plus 2 6 7. Sorry, 1 in 3 input 1 plus 1 2 plus 1 3 4 5 6. 6 gate I need. 6 basic gates I need with two sophisticated gates. What is the sophisticated? Because 3 inputs are there. Okay, in order to design this logic circuit, I need, let's say this is my logic circuit, which gives me actually the circuit which is actually gives me odd detector. Let's say this is some of the circuit which actually functionality is like this. Okay, which takes X, Y, Z input, which takes X, just a minute, which takes X, Y, and Z input, X, Y, and Z input and gives me output W. Okay, what this logic circuit I am going to design actually. So what I need 6 gates to design with 2 sophisticated. Okay, so the cost of my design is high. Cost of my design is high. By some means, if I can reduce the number of gates 6 to just 2 gates. Okay, let's say I'm going to design it, reduce it to just to 1 gate or just to only 1 literal, just only 1 literal. I'm going to do this, don't worry guys. How I am going to completely, I can make it to only Y. Whatever is given here, this will be become Y. How is it? I will show you after all the Boolean algebra postulates if I teach you. Okay, so what I have done, instead of using 6 gates, and how many literals I am taking here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if I am going to design this, I require 6 gates and 8 literals. Okay, am I correct, students? So which is having high cost design. So if I apply some of the Boolean algebra or postulates, and I can reduce it to some of the at least at least few number of gates or few number of literals, then my cost of the design get reduced. Okay, in order to reduce the number of literals or gates, we need certain postulates or algebras. That's why we are going to see some Boolean algebra. Okay, do you all understand, students? How we'll do this, we'll see in later on. Once I will tell you all the Boolean algebra postulates, then at the end you can able to understand it. Any doubts, students? Please let me know immediately. Why we need Boolean algebra? Any doubt? Immediately, Ragvi. Hello.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt. Did you all understand, students? Please let me know. It should be very much clear. Otherwise, it's very difficult for you to explain later on. Okay. So next, I'll come up to the Boolean algebra. Axiomatic definition I have already told you. What is that axiomatic definition? Boolean algebra is containing a set of 2 or more elements and 2 operators. Okay. For every A and B belongs to set K. Okay, which is actually A or B belongs to set K, A and B belongs to set K. If K is having values 0 and 1, only these 2 values, then this is called 2-valued Boolean algebra. Okay, this is your postulate number 1. There is no doubt on postulate number 1. Okay, I'm just moving to the postulate number 2. Okay, so this is axiomatic definition. There is no need of any proof of it. Okay, this is the postulate which is to be granted. Okay, next, postulate number 2. What is postulate number 2? Very important, student. This postulate you have to remember, and you have to use this to reduce the number of logic gates and number of literals to get the less cost design. Okay, so here existence of 0 and 1, existence of 0 and 1 is actually the postulate number 2. So there will be few typing mistakes, students, so don't please pardon me at that time. I am not taking care of your typing mistakes and all. I'll share with you the notes, don't worry. It will be very useful to you, and anyhow I'll be sharing the recordings also. Anytime you can watch it, and you can see it in the at home also. Okay, so don't worry, I'll help you at every aspect. Okay, so existence of 0 and 1. What is existence of 0 and 1? Before going to that, we should know what is identity element. Okay, what is identity element? So identity elements are 0 and 1 are the identity element. So what is 0 is the identity element of OR operation. 0 is the identity element of OR operation. 1 is the identity element of AND operation. Now the question is, what is identity? If I ask you what is my identity, what I have to show you? I have to show you my identity card, either Aadhaar card or something. Or if I am in college, I can show you. If somebody asks, sir, who are you? Then I can show you my identity card. Then he will obviously understand I am an associate professor in EC department. Okay. So similarly, the identity element tells me that what is the identity of the OR operator, what is the identity of the AND operator. So what it suggests here, A or 0, if I do, I am not going to lose the identity of the variable of the OR operator. Are you understanding, student? This is called existence of 0 in OR operator. Okay. Similarly, if I am going to end with 1, then I'm not going to lose my identity of the variable A. That's why it's called existence of 1 in AND operator. Okay. Any doubt, student? This is one of another postulate which actually retaining the identity of OR operator and AND operator. So 0 is the identity element of OR operator, 1 is the identity element of AND operator. Okay, this is called existence of 0 and 1. Now the question has been come up, how, sir, it will be? Can you prove it? Yes, we can prove it. How is it? See now. So any postulate apart from postulate number 1, we can prove it. Okay, how is it? Using truth table technique. Using truth table technique. What is truth table, students? Truth table describes the relationship between input and output. Okay, so here I am going to do here A plus 0 is A. What is this? This is existence of 0. Okay, similarly A and 1 is A, which is existence of 1. Okay, so see here how I will prove. Let's say I am taking A. Okay, using truth table. If I take A, how many number of possible values I can give to A? Either 0 or 1. Am I correct? And another one is 0. So if it is A 0 or 1, and here 0 means obviously these two are 0 0. So I'm taking a OR gate here. This is A, this is 0. So obviously I can give here either 0 or 1. Either 0 or 1, and this one is fixed to 0. So what is my A or 0 then? A or 0 is OR operation. What it told? 0 or 0, 0, 0 or 1, 1. So what do you understand from this? I understand that these two are equal. See here. So whatever the identity I am giving here at A, if I make OR operation with 0, I'm not losing my identity and I'm getting back the value A. So this is the proof. You understand? You can make truth table to prove it. Okay. Similarly, if I do A and 1, so I'm taking two inputs A and 1. So this is my AND. I'm taking A. Another one is fixed to 1. A can be 0 or 1. Okay. A can be 0 or 1. So I will be obtaining A here or not. We'll see it by the help of truth table. So see here, A will be either 0 and 1. For both the cases, 1 will be fixed to 1. So if I do A and 1, 0 and 1, 0, 1 and 1, 1. So I'm retaining my values of A if I AND operation with 1. So this is called existence of 1 and 0. Okay. Any doubt, students, about postulate number 2? Else we'll proceed further. So next, postulate number.
Sir, can you repeat it? Sir, can you repeat it?
Which one? Which one I want to repeat?
Postulate number.
Is this? Huh? This one?
Yes, sir.
So what I told here, nothing else, very simple. What is existence of 1? Existence of 1 is A AND with 1. It will retain his value. Okay, whatever the value you will give here. Let's say how to prove it. Actually, if you take A and this is 1, so A means either I will take 0 or 1, but 1 is fixed, it is 1. If I take A and 1, so what it will be? 0 AND operation with 1 will give me 0, 1 AND operation with 1 will give me 1. So you see here A is equal to your A and 1. Okay, so here what is happening? Here existence of 1, here retaining the variable identity of the variable A is not changing. Identity of the variable A will get retained after if we made AND operation with 1. That is called existence of 1. Okay. Similarly, A or 0. If I do A or 0, what I have to do? Take A, one variable, 0 as fixed. So A will be variable, means I can give in that variable either 0 or 1. So 0 is fixed to 0, 0. If I made A or 0, what will happen? 0 or 0, 0, 1 or 0, 1. So what we have obtained here, whatever A value get retained after A or 0, that is called existence of 0. This is called existence of 1. I am getting my identity of the variable get retained if I made AND operation with 1. Identity of the variable A get retained if I made OR operation with 0. Okay, this is called existence of 0 and 1 element. Any doubt, students? Now, whoever asked the question, any doubt, please let me know immediately. Whoever asked the question, did you understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you understand now? Huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next one, postulate number 3. So what is postulated number 3? It is commutative law. What is commutative law? Very simple. A or B is B or A and B is B and A. Okay, this is commutative law. Okay, very simple. If I perform the OR operation between two variable A or B and interchange those variables and perform the OR operation, I will get the same value. Okay, how is it? You can prove with the help of truth table. How? You take A, B. So if I take A and B, how many number of combinations possible? 4 combinations, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1. Then I will take A or B. A or B. So what is A or B? 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Next, what I will do? Same thing. I'll take B first and OR operation. B plus A also, B or A also will give me this thing. 0, 1, 1, 1. So this is called commutative law. Okay. If I interchange the variables and perform the OR operation, I'll get the same result. If I'll interchange the variable and perform the AND operation, is also same result. So this is called commutative law. In the exam it comes, you can prove it this way, truth table. Okay, any doubt, students, on the commutative law? Is it okay? Okay, next thing, postulate number 4. What is postulate number 4? Postulate number 4 is associative law. So these are certain postulates. Okay, what is associative law? Associative law is A or B or C is equal to A or B or C. Okay, also A and B and C is equal to A and B and C. This is with OR operator associative, this is with AND operator associative. Okay, so how to prove it? Very simple. You have to take 3 combinations A, B, C, and 8 different values has been come up. 2 to the 3 variables means 8 number of combinations. What are those combinations? If it is 3 variable, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Like this way, 3 variables you have to take. Next, you have to perform OR operation between B or C. You have to perform and write down those results here. So after that, A or B or C, whatever the values you got, make OR operation between these two and write down the result over here. Any doubt on this? Next, after that, perform A or B. Okay, take these 2 columns and perform A or B. Okay, after that, whatever the result you got, perform A or B or C. A or B, whatever result you got, you perform with this and write down the result over here. So finally, you can see at the end, this column and this column are equal. And you can tell that, yes, OR operator follows the associative law. Any doubt, students? Let me know. This is very simple. You can do that. If you know that OR gate, AND gate operations, nothing else is there. You can prove it yourself. Okay. Any doubt, please let me know immediately, students. We'll cover up little bit more things. No doubt? Ragvi? Did you understand?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Bharat Reddy, did you understand? Bharat Reddy. Bharat Reddy, are you there? Did you understand or not? Okay. Okay. Next thing is the postulate number 5. So one more thing, if you are not understanding, please immediately ask me here itself. Okay, don't like put it in the chat box. If you put it in the chat box, I don't know which one you are asking me doubt. Okay, immediately unmute yourself and ask me. I will explain you immediately. Don't worry. How many number of times you want me to explain, I'll explain it. Don't worry. Okay, next postulate number 5 is distributive law. What is distributive law? There are two different distributive laws are there. One is distributivity of plus operator over dot operator. Okay, what it suggests? A or B and C. Distributive of plus operator over AND operator. What it suggests? A or B and A or C. Okay, this is distributive of OR operator. OR operator get distributed over AND operator. That's why it's called distributivity of OR operator over AND operator. Again, the same way you can prove it. Take A, B, C. Okay, take the 8 possible combinations. Perform first B and C. Okay, after that perform A or B and C. Whatever you got with this 2. Get the result here. Then perform A or B. Next perform A or C. Next whatever you dot of A or B and A or C. Perform this operation. Whatever the result got here, the column results will be get equal. So this is the proof actually. Very simple. If somebody will ask you, prove the distributive over OR gate over AND gate, you can do this way. Okay. Any doubt, students? Okay, is that fine? Next, we'll go to the next one. I'll just 2 minutes, I'll cover it up. So now the question is, what about this one? Can I apply here also distributive law? Yes, obviously. This will be your A or B bar and A or C bar. Okay. Similarly, can I apply here also distributive law? Yes, A or A bar and A or C. I will tell about this thing is later on. Don't worry, there is another postulate about it. But distributive law can be applied like this. So what is I am doing here? I am distributing OR operator over AND operator. Now ulta distributivity AND operator, distributivity of AND operator over OR operator. So how can we do that? Very simple. What you have to do? A and B or C, which is actually A and B or A and C. Okay, do you all understand? So this is distributive of AND operator. AND operator get distributed. See here over OR operator. Okay, so this is distributive of AND operator over OR operator. Again, you can do the proof the same way. What you have to do? This one. So I'll just stop it over here. A and B or C. What you have to do? A and B or A and C. What you have to do? Very simple. Take A, B, C. Take all the 8 conjugate combinations 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 like this. Perform B or C first. Okay, perform between these two B or C. Next, perform A and B or C. Take these 2 columns and perform AND operator. Okay, to get this result. Then perform A and B. Take these 2 columns and perform A and B. And then perform A and C. And then A and B or A and C. Then these 2 columns result will get equal. Okay, then you can prove that, say that distributive of AND gate over OR gate satisfied well. Okay, So we'll stop over here, students, up to postulate number 5, and in the next class we'll start with the next week postulate number 6 onwards. Okay. So do you all understand of today's class, students? Any doubt on this? Please let me know immediately, else we'll stop over here.